A historic day for Barbados as the legislators elect the country's first president. That's the big story in your evening news update today, Wednesday, October 20th. When Barbados celebrates its 55th anniversary of independence in just over a month, Dame Sandra Mason will replace Queen Elizabeth II as the head of state. The way was paved today at a joint parliamentary sitting held at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Centre, in which lawmakers from the lower house unanimously approved the nomination, along with senators present for this session. But the move was not without its controversy, as opposition Senator Caswell Franklin raised a strong objection and refused to be part of the process.
This document has no validity. It comes from nowhere.
I have deemed it to be valid and we will proceed.
You cannot deem something to be valid that does not have a constitutional or a legislative basis, sir. So no, you will not treat me this way today. I will not stand for it. You will not put me out.
Senator Franklin, there's no need. We don't have to put you out.
Sir, no, but you must hear me then.
Senator Franklin, this is not the time or the place.
There is the time because there's no other time.
Your concern is noted.
Sir, my concern is not addressed because I'm not finished.
Regulations. This is Supreme Court of the land.
This document has no validity. It comes from nowhere. Somebody made up this last night after I told people, get things in place because I can object. So you rush and do this. It has. I don't want to surprise nobody. No, I told everybody that this is going to happen. To show you that the nonsense that we did in this House and the Senate last time when we passed the Constitutional Amendment Act, there are no rules.
Prime Minister Mia Mottley described it as a seminal moment for the country's journey. In congratulating the president-elect, she said there was no one more deserving for the top post.
And there can be no better way to reflect the love of self than to accept that one of your very own, born of this nation, shaped by this nation, adding to this nation, bringing honor to this nation, that person should be elected here today. Like the leader of the opposition, I take pride in the fact that it is a woman of the soil to whom this honor is being given and conferred by the members of both houses of parliament. Like the leader of the opposition, I know only too well the journey that it has taken for women to come to any position that they did not hold before, and the extent to which it has been the subject of all kinds of difficulties and, regrettably in some instances, misogyny. I know only too well that those of us for whom that honor is given come not to be the first ever, but come to ensure that we will never be the last. And Mr. Speaker, I believe that that is the position of the person whom we have now elected as our first woman president, but also our first president of this nation, Barbados.
She added that the move to republic was critical for the independent nation, stressing it was time for Barbados to claim its full destiny.
This is really not about November 30th, 2021. This is about December 1st, 2021. This is about being able to use this as the springboard that we as a nation need in order to confront a completely different reality. In many instances, even significantly different from that which confronted us as a nation when we became the government of this nation just over 3 years ago.
Opposition leader Joseph Bishop Atherley also had high praise for Dame Sandra Mason. He, however, maintained his objection to the process and timing of the country's move to the parliamentary republic.
By this vote, Mr. Speaker, we have elevated to the highest office in the land, in this new context, one we consider to be worthy of this signal honor, one who has achieved excellence in her public and professional life, one who has worn all the trappings of her current office, with dignity, polished bearing, and the requisite mix of pride and humility. One who both symbolizes and gives substantive expression to that which we desire to be ideally Barbadian, inclusive of one, the pursuit of individual duty as one's imperative contribution to the shaping of our national destiny. Two, the embrace of integrity and industry in professional and public endeavor. Three, the demonstration of civility and charity in engaging others in the context of their concerns and challenges. One who, by manner of service and appreciation of office, constitutes, again both symbolically and substantively, a unifying force in the practice of our political and governance model.
In other news this Wednesday, 2 men lost their battle with COVID-19, pushing the death toll to 124. A 29-year-old Guyanese man died on Tuesday, and a 64-year-old Barbadian passed away today. Health authorities report that both men were in primary isolation and unvaccinated. Meanwhile, 381 new cases of COVID-19, 170 males and 211 females were confirmed by the Barbados Santos Public Health Laboratory. The new positives comprise 79 persons who are under the age of 18 and 302 who are 18 years and older. There are 639 people in isolation facilities and 3,422 in home isolation. Since the start of the pandemic, Barbados recorded 13,934 COVID-19 cases. And under the National Vaccination Program for COVID-19, the total number of persons who are fully vaccinated is 118,537, or 43.7% of the total population, or 51.9% of the eligible population. Amid the continuing spike in cases, government today went to Parliament to extend the public health emergency. Health and Wellness Minister Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic says this will allow government to maintain control of the situation as he expressed concern about the emerging variants.
The emergency powers were intended for one thing and one thing only, and that is to allow us the flexibility of being able to manage what obviously is a continuous and a developing situation in the COVID pandemic. And the emergency powers facilitates a number of things, and I will touch on them very briefly. And as a result of that, given where we are at this point in time, we consider it necessary for the extension, and especially because none of us, no country, none of us know exactly when this thing is going to end. We don't know when the next variant is going to be at our doorsteps, and we have to be able to manage and to move sometimes from one particular strategy to another, and that is something that we've had to do within recent times as we continue to feel the impacts of the Delta variant.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Hi, my name is Michelle Thompson. I'm a visually impaired person. I am also a member of the National United Society of the Blind of Barbados. I am vaccinated. I took the vaccination due to the fact that I am diabetic, I'm asthmatic, and I also have high blood pressure. I had no side effects. Everything went calm and smooth, as my doctor said it would go. Please, people, go ahead and do the right thing.
Let's roll up our sleeves and get back to living.
To regional happenings, health officials in St. Vincent and the Grenadines say the Gamma variant of the coronavirus is the dominant variant in circulation in SVG. They warn that it is just as deadly as the Delta variant. We get more in this report from SVG News.
The Gamma variant is reportedly the most dominant COVID-19 strain in SVG, with 24 cases recorded. The other variants detected on island are the Mu, with 15 cases, and the Delta variant, with 5. Providing the local statistics on the variants at today's news conference was epidemiologist in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Tamara Bob, who said that they continue to send samples to be tested at the lab of the Caribbean Public Health Agency in Trinidad and Tobago. Bob further revealed that one of the 54 persons who died here was a result of the Gamma variant of the viral illness.
We normally have certain criteria that we use in order to send samples out to be sequenced. So far, only one person who has died has met that criteria, and we actually just received that result recently, and that person was determined to be infected with the Gamma variant. So that's the only one that we have received so far. Cycle threshold, the CT score that is obtained in the lab, is used. CAFA has a certain number. I think it's about 20 something. So anything below that threshold would be submitted. I'm not sure the exact number. I think the lab might be in a better position to give that score, but once they are below that number, then the sample is sent on.
On the international front, the Biden administration outlined its plans to vaccinate millions of U.S. children aged 5 to 11 as soon as the COVID-19 shot is authorized for them. It's readying doses and preparing locations ahead of the busy holiday season. We get more in this report from Reuters TV.
We know millions of parents have been waiting for COVID-19 vaccine for kids in this age group. And should the FDA and CDC authorize the vaccine, we will be ready to get shots in arms.
The Biden administration on Wednesday outlined its plan to vaccinate millions of kids ages 5 to 11 as soon as the COVID-19 shot is approved for younger children. Like these sisters who recently took part in a vaccine trial at Duke University,
You did great, sweetie.
kids will get their shots at clinics in more than 100 children's hospital systems nationwide, as well as doctors' offices, pharmacies, and potentially schools, the White House said, as it readies doses ahead of the busy holiday season. White House COVID-19 response coordinator Jeff Zients said the new vaccination campaign would be tailored for children.
Kids have different needs than adults, and our operational planning is geared to meet those specific needs, including by offering vaccinations in settings that parents and kids are familiar with and trust.
He also said the administration had worked with Pfizer to modify the packaging of the pediatric doses to make it easier to administer to children, including providing smaller needles.
That's news, but for the very latest, you can visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.